So I'm going to just uncover what it is I'm going to be working with, and I'm just going to be working with her legs, her lower legs. Because sometimes little or older people, and they get cold. Hospitals are cold places. So we're going to just keep her covered up. Are you comfortable?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then we're going to start working with your hips, and we're going to just kind of see how well these joints are working, okay?
Okay.
So you take your hip and knee, and you flex. This is knee-hip flexion, and this is extension. So flexion, let me have you do it with your other leg, and extension. Can you do it by yourself? And extend, and flex, and extend. Okay, good job. Wow, you must be a dancer. Okay, all right, so now we're going to work with her. Okay, now we need to do what's called abduction and adduction. So abduction means that I pull away. Adduction is we bring it together. So abduction and adduction. Now let me have you try it on that side. Abduction, adduction. Good. Okay, now we're going to do what's called internal and external rotation. So internal is basically what it sounds like. You turn the foot inside. So you go pigeon-toed. But your legs need to stay straight because it's the turn of the hip. Okay? So internal rotation, then you turn it out. External rotation. And if you would have had hip fractures or hip problems, this kills to have your patients do this. So internal rotation, external rotation. Okay. Good job. Now we're going to go ahead and work on your ankles. Did I get everything on that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and work on your ankles. So let me have you do, this is called dorsiflexion, where I hold, it's almost like when you check for Hohenstein. So you flex it back, that's called dorsiflexion. Then you point, that's called plantar flexion. Dorsiflexion, plantar flexion. Okay, now while I've got your foot up here, we're going to just do kind of circular motion and see how well. Does that hurt at all?
Oh.
No? So good circular motions like that. Okay, now with your toes, we're going to do what's called flexion and extension. So kind of curl your toes. Does that hurt any of your toes?
No.
And if they had hammer toe, it kills. So just so you know. And extension, okay, flexion and extension. All right, so does that feel okay? Do you feel kind of warmed up and stuff now?
Yeah.
Do you have any questions regarding that?
No.
Okay, so what you would document how the patient tolerated it. You would document anything that's abnormal. If they had pain with any of the movement, how much movement, were they, within the normal limits of what movement is? Were they a little bit short? Was the one side, did you have to do passive range of motion? Were they able to do any active range of motion? Those are all things that you're going to chart and how their stamina level was. If you had to stop in the middle of it, because they were so tired and different things like that.
If they have limited range of motion, how do you chart that?
They had limited range of motion, we're not able to do the abduction. We're not able to do, you basically
So
just
that they
state,
know part of it.
you state what they could do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you're documenting, you want to go head to toe still, like range of motion and neck. So you want to know everything, like the flexion,
Yeah.
extension,
And whether there was abnormalities and whatever there was abnormalities.
You just write
Cover the
no
neck by
abnormal.
saying,
You can write abnormalities if everything was normal, but if you had to do passive range of motion on this person because they weren't able to, you would just say went through the full flexion, full extension, and how the patient tolerated it. Because obviously, but if they're contracted and they have contractures, you will not be able to move them the full way.
So patient was able to demonstrate flexion, rotation, and extension of neck. Is that exactly how you document it?
And then how they tolerated it well.
so you can't just say
Had no
full range of
complaints of
motion
pain.
and neck.
You have to specifically say what the patient was able to do.
You can, if you want to say full range of motion in neck, including flexion, extension, hyperextension, and those. But I want to know that you guys did all of the things you know you did. I am having you guys obviously over chart than what you're normally going to chart, so that you guys get the whole process of how to chart. Okay. All right. So then you assess your patient's pain level. If you need to medicate them, go ahead and medicate your patient now. You're also going to want to make them comfortable, get them a drink of water, leave their call light in place. You're going to want to put their bed back down, and then you're going to want to sit them up if that's what they want. You've already taught them all the way through, so you're going to just leave them safe and clean and that kind of thing. And when I say a clean environment, you guys, I'm serious. If I ever walk into one of your patients' room and it's a pig mess, I'm going to flunk you. Just kidding. But really, if there's garbage on the counter, get it cleaned up. When patients have a cleaner room, they do better. So just kind of clean up. They have a hard time cleaning up after themselves because they're sick. They're in a bed, you know. So just clean up. Clean them up. Make sure that they're nice and clean and everything. So, okay. Do you guys have any questions as far as that